Bene, quando un'idea fissa, come la chiamava Paul Valéry, è di questo genere, direi che non possiamo che essere d'accordo, cioè l'idea fissa che la ricerca di base sia importante almeno quanto quella applicata, ed è questo uno dei temi su cui spesso purtroppo si discute da moltissimi anni, ma non si riesce mai a fare moltissimo. Quindi mi sembra molto concreta la proposta che abbiamo sentito dall'assessore Trombetti. Adesso darò la parola invece a Bern, spero di pronunciarlo giusto, Orne Sorge, poi me lo dirà lui, se lo ripeterà lui il nome nel modo giusto, e che ci presenterà un caso di eccellenza, diciamo, tecnologica, perché lui è il CEO della Siemens Healthcare per quanto riguarda la risonanza magnetica nel mondo. La Siemens, come sapete, è un'impresa di grandissime dimensioni che si occupa di moltissime cose, di energia, di prodotti per l'industria, di smart city, di tutto ciò che è particolarmente avanzato, e ciò che viene presentato oggi è una macchina che permette di fare una risonanza magnetica che si chiama Biograph, che permette di fare contemporaneamente la MMR e la PET, quindi, e che è stata installata per la prima volta proprio all'SDN. Quindi do la parola a Bern Orne Sorge, ma ce lo dica lui come si pronuncia e lo ringraziamo.
You pronounce this very well, thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear honored guests. It's my great privilege to speak today to you on behalf of a company which tries to generate ideas also to advance human health. So, on the example of a new technology, I will introduce concepts and thoughts of how technology can help advance human health forward. So, food for thought, and also a little bit of sharing of experiences from the country of Germany, how Germany does bring forward technology in the universities. A little bit about Siemens, just to begin with. Siemens, and I'm a proud employee of Siemens, has been recognized as one of the most innovative companies in the world. In the meantime, amongst the 50 most innovative companies, and especially in Europe, in Germany, and also in the United States. It's amongst the top 10 companies in terms of patent publication, which is an ultimate good measure for innovativeness. This is a bit of a snapshot of Siemens. As you may know, it is organized in 4 major sectors. So it is very active in healthcare, but also in energy, industry, and infrastructure technology. But I have picked, just to give you a little bit of feel, healthcare then is constituting of several divisions with a total annual revenue of last year of 12.5 billion euro, and worldwide more than 50,000 employees active to help generate, bring technology to customers and patients. One of those divisions, which I belong to, is, and which I represent, is imaging and therapy. So the bigger imaging equipment, computer tomography, magnetic resonance, molecular imaging, and also radiation oncology. And in the course of this presentation, I will primarily focus on elements of magnetic resonance imaging and molecular imaging, where there is very significant advancements at this time. Innovation is hard to measure, but we're still trying to do so, and there are a few snapshots of how innovation could be measured, and this is the example of the bigger imaging equipment. So the division, imaging, inside Siemens Healthcare has more than 5,000 active patents, out of which, interestingly, more than 1,000 are held only by 20 employees. So there is very key people in the company, and I think this is not just in Siemens. I want to emphasize 2 more things. One, that we are proud that we spend more than 8% of our annual revenue in R&D, which is benchmark in the industry and also a big element of continuing to bring innovation to the market. One of those key pillars is innovation with our partners. So we have more than 1,000 collaborations, research and development collaborations with universities. And And I'm very proud that we can now also establish one here in Naples in this building with Professor Salvatore, which is more than 1,101st one. It's going to be a very significant one in the south of Europe, and I'm very happy about this. What does innovation for human health mean? We all know that today healthcare systems worldwide have challenges, and very different challenges. In the more developed markets, we see an aging population and heavy cost pressure on healthcare systems. In the developing economies, like China, Brazil, we still have huge demand of affordable healthcare to the broad level of populations, and then there's also countries that have a little mix of both. And we believe that it is truly innovation that helps to advance healthcare, but at the same time also make it affordable. And here, just from the example of Germany, where an aging population trend cannot be reversed, it is happening, so the only possible way forward is to have medical solutions, healthcare solutions, including medical imaging, that helps keeping us all productive as we age, and so that we can contribute to the society. And this is one of our mantras in Siemens. When we invest in R&D, we challenge it, is it a contribution to advance and to enhance productive aging of all of the population? So, and we do invest in such, in healthcare overall. As I mentioned, we are in the 9 to 11% corridor of investing in R&D, and that in both, in cutting-edge technology on the one hand, but also in affordable solutions which can be made available in the smaller hospitals worldwide, in the private practices in Germany, in the small hospitals in China, and also in the intermediate hospitals here in Italy. So we innovate in both directions. So let me come to an example, a very active and current example. In MRI, it has always been our mantra to disrupt technology, to move it forward. MRI is a fantastic technology which allows to detect disease earlier without radiation exposure in a bigger imaging equipment scenario, but it allows to detect cardiovascular diseases, oncological diseases at a stage where it can be diagnosed and treated earlier, so to have better messages for treatment outcomes and for treatment decisions. Currently, as you all may know, 1.5 Tesla and 3 Tesla systems are the established standard, and we are investing heavily in order to move forward on several applications. Neurology is a good example, functional imaging of the brain, cardiovascular imaging to look earlier for signs of cardiac diseases, but also orthopedics as the population ages is very much in the focus. So we move forward that field and invest in this heavily. And one example I wanted to mention is to progress the technology as such in a research environment, where now in the meantime the first about 30 worldwide ultra-high field systems have been introduced, so-called 7 Tesla systems, which are in a research environment, but which give the perspective of finding neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, MS, much earlier, to detect them earlier, because as we age, these diseases become much more prevalent. The example I want to focus on is, and I'm very proud and very happy that this could be made happen with the support of Professor Salvatore, but with the support of the Italian Research Foundation especially, is to bring the first combined MR and PET system into the southern Europe hemisphere, south of the Alps, here into this building, which will go in operation very shortly, which is for the first time a combination of 2 technologies, MRI and nuclear medicine, for a simultaneous acquisition of morphology, function, and the metabolism of tissue to detect disease earlier. This is an example where you see an MRI of a brain on the left side and a PET scan on the right side. The PET is very accurate in finding cancer. This is a cancer, but you don't know where it is. MR is very accurate in finding morphology, but you don't see the cancer. So if you combine both and measure them at the same time, you have all information you need for a good and early treatment decision. And this is what this technology is about. And I'm happy to report it is now penetrating several research institutions. And I am using this here as one example from the United States, which is the first time this ever happened. The American Food and Drug Administration, which is extremely critical and very demanding, and known as that, has themselves published a press release of emphasizing the use and the high potential of this technology in order to at the same time measure MR and PET information with reduced radiation dose and increased soft tissue contrast for better decision, better diagnosis, for better treatment outcomes. In the meantime, so this technology has been more than 10 years of development. It is now, since about 12 months, in clinical tests and now in a clinical product status. And I'm very happy that here in Napoli, one of the first 10 systems worldwide could be installed, and the first one in Southern Europe. And we are very much looking forward to a very close collaboration in penetrating this technology further, exploring its full potential in a joint collaborative effort. Let me close with a few thoughts and a few food for thought from Germany, my home country, where in the meantime, on the cutting-edge technology like this combined MR-PET system, but also the previously mentioned ultra-high-field MR systems, which are both technologies which have the potential to have better diagnosis of cancer, of neurodegenerative diseases, but are still in a status where they're technology-wise very mature, but from a clinical application, still a lot of research is to be done. In the meantime, here you see the list of more than 10 of those installations in Germany, which have been happening over the last about 5 years. Very balanced in the west part and the east part of Germany. While you may remember that the east part of Germany 20 years ago looked totally different. Today there's a uniform investment scheme into both parts of the country, with actually a particular emphasis of the former eastern part of Germany, happening through especially introduced public foundations and institutions, the Helmholtz associations, the Max Planck Association, and the German Research Foundation. And those have been branching out after the reunification in the 1990s to establish in a very well balanced way branches of their activities in the eastern part of Germany, so that with today in Western Germany 65 million citizens, and in the eastern part of Germany 16 million citizens, the penetration and the coverage of those institutions, which are the entities to bring research funds to the local universities and research institutions, is very balanced, and this is the vehicle to advance translational research in healthcare and in others. So in a total, it shows that at this point, and these are numbers from 2007, about 2.5% of the GDP is invested in total into research and education. Industry contributes a lot of it. Well, industry, where they contributed is a bit of, depending on the history, so that for Siemens, it is mainly in Bavaria, because this is where we have grown, like Siemens Healthcare, and in the southwest, with the car industry, for example. But the government-related expenditures of 18.5 billion euro is very well balanced through these vehicles of these mentioned associations. And coming back to the most current example, the integrated so-called Biograph MMR, MR plus PET combined, it was the German Research Foundation. It was Siemens to develop the technology, but it was the German Research Foundation which helped to install the first 3 systems in Germany, 2 in the west, in Essen and in Munich, 1 in the east, in Leipzig, to enter it into translational clinical research so that industry, together with the universities, can explore its full potential to help many more patients in the future. And I'm very happy that we may have the opportunity in Italy to follow the same way. Also for the first inauguration of the system in Munich, this is Horst Seehofer, the Minister President of Bavaria. I'm extremely proud and pleased to see that it has the same level of attention here in Italy, and I can propose to you and transport to you the full commitment of Siemens as a company to invest and collaborate here in Naples in advancing this technology for use of many patients in Italy. So with this, I'd like to conclude with a true commitment of jointly to advance public and to improve public healthy aging and productive aging. I'll be happy that maybe at the beach of Napoli at one point I can carry such surfboard, and maybe some of you as well. So with this little thought, I thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for